Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Cardinals dropped the ball on Sunday, literally and figuratively. They drop-kicked a victory into a nauseating defeat. Their sputtering, unwatchable offense failed to close out a game for the third consecutive week. They only throw downfield when desperate, and at this rate, they are no threat to win anything significant in 2025. But this isn't on Kyler Murray, even though I'm getting really tired of this offense by paper cuts. This is on the wide receivers, a position group that most fans were very worried about entering the season, but not GM Monty Ossenfort, who is either seriously constricted by budget restrictions and a frugal owner, or he sees something the rest of us do not. Because to me, Marvin Harrison Jr. is closer to bust than he is to the Pro Bowl, and all the gaslighting in the world cannot convince Cardinal fans otherwise, not when you see the drops and the fear and the hesitation that is still in his game despite those very impressive biceps. It feels like it's going to take a Herculean feat to get this offense out of the ditch, especially after the injury to their spirit animal, James Conner. But with another division opponent on tap in 81 hours, they better find something, and fast. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW. Make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
I mean, we had plays there. We had plays there throughout the game that, I know I've seen our guys make. I know, again, it's myself included. We all just got to be better. But when you're playing better teams, you're playing better opponents, can't afford to, let those happen just because, you get a chance to put your foot on the throat, you have to. And, today, obviously, it ended in a walk-off field goal. It was that close. We had multiple opportunities, I feel like, to kind of put that game away. It's frustrating.
That's Kyler Murray after the game talking about the lack of plays or the opportunities to make plays, but just not happening. And what we had heard through 2 weeks from the Cardinals in victory, and there was this tone of, okay, they're 2-0, but. Mm-hmm. One of the things we heard, man, we need to close out games a lot better than we have. Came down to one play, a goal line play in New Orleans. It came down to Calais Campbell making a sack at a crucial time against Carolina. The circumstances were different. With the lead, they had a chance to close out the game effectively. And they needed 2 first downs, and they got 1 first down. So that whole mix, that possession after the safety, I thought it was very telling, too. The play calling there, a couple of designed runs for Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
The first one was a 9-yard run on first down that led to a first down. But when they got the new set of downs, that first play to the right was kind of a still, I thought it was like a stunted play from the get-go. And they never really, they were behind the sticks on second and long, and they never really got it going. But that, to me, was telling that they chose to run the ball, and they even made the point on the television broadcast. Kyler Murray might be their most trusted ball carrier right now. I'm not sure that's the case. But also, look, you can't give a free pass to the defense either. Played a great game, but on that last drive, they got picked apart by Mac.
Yeah, but
Mac
again,
Jones.
This defense is getting hung out to dry late in games by an offense that will not keep them off the field. And so I'm
for the most part, they did keep him off the field.
In the first half, they did.
9-minute differential in time of possession.
Oh, the first half was fantastic. At one point, the time of possession numbers in the first half were incredibly in the Cardinals' favor.
But they were down 3.
But they were not reflected on the scoreboard. That's what was just blowing my mind here. And that's the kind of thing that really it can take a lot of wind out of the sails of a football team, because I really did like the way the defense played. Josh Sweat, through 3 games, is proving to be the playmaker the Cardinals paid for.
Calais
I'm very
Campbell's
happy to see
fantastic.
that. Calais Campbell's been incredible in his return.
Mac Wilson was arguably the most disruptive player on the field yesterday.
And he was by far my favorite defender yesterday. He was coming at Christian McCaffrey every single play. And by the end of it, you could see Christian McCaffrey was just done with Mac Wilson Sr. getting in his face and yapping and hitting him and yapping and hitting him. It was fantastic effort from Mac. You might look at Christian McCaffrey's statistics and go, Bickley, what are you talking about? But when you watch the game, Mac Wilson Sr. made his life about as difficult as you can. And it's frustrating to me that when the Cardinals get the ball in these end game situations, it generally brings out the worst in their offense. Even that pass to Zay Jones, which had Zay Jones caught that ball, granted, our narratives and what we're talking about would be wildly different this morning. But that was a 3rd and 9. That's not the way you plan out these game ceiling kind of drives.
Sure. Jonathan Gannon talked about how his wide receivers played.
I'd have to watch the tape. They're playing a bunch of zone. So, we got to see if guys are open and they're, make sure that we can throw it to them when they're open.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and check the alternate viewing of it. There were some plays it looked to me like Michael Wilson had some separation and wasn't getting the football. I don't know. There would have to be a deep dive done on this passing game to see, all right, is Kyler really missing a lot of guys? Or is this receiver room just not getting any separation whatsoever? Is there nothing to look at when you're scanning the field, which is leading to all these checkdowns?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair question to explore right now because the production has been so little.
I would say even more than Kyler, maybe even more than the receivers. A lot of Cardinals fans are blaming Drew Petzing today, but we don't know the exact play calls that are being called, and if it's just Kyler that's dinking and dunking, going off of his number 1 and 2 receiver.
Well, listen, the fact that Jonathan Gannon went to Drew Petzing's defense as vigorously as he did yesterday, saying he'd never question Drew Petzing, that tells you something.
I have no problems with the offensive play calling. Never will. I know exactly what we're calling. So if you got a problem with that, you should look to me.
I know exactly what we're calling. Now, is he saying that because he's like, well, I'm the final decision maker. If you have a problem, you got to me. Or is he saying, I know exactly what we're calling. We're calling the right plays. They're just not executing them.
And I understand exactly what we're leaving on the table. Yes, I think that's probably what we're getting at here. I would bet you this is more player-driven than coordinator-driven. Even though, look, pitching coaches, offensive coordinators, they are the first one to fall into those crosshairs. Batting coaches, too.
Yeah, absolutely. Marvin Harrison Jr., who had the big drop, didn't make the play in the end zone, struggled through it again. He was wearing it after the game, taking responsibility.
Everybody got a job to do. I'm not doing my job at a high enough level at the moment.
What level are you trying to achieve? Is it 100% completions? Is there a number? Is there anything you're looking for out of yourself specifically?
I think I know what I'm capable of, and to go out there and not play to nowhere near the best of my abilities. It's frustrating. It hurts the team, and I got to get better.
So I look. You're looking for pluses out of a thing like that. A game like that, a performance like that, the fact that he is taking it that hard, the fact that he is, sharing culpability or falling on the sword for his teammates, he looks like a guy who's going through it right now. We know how talented he is. We haven't seen it consistently as a professional, but it's got to get more consistent and it's got to get better. And I'm talking about the number of targets. There was a long stretch of game to start where, again, there was no involvement for the wide receivers. And I don't think that script is necessarily working out for the overall plot of this movie for the Cardinals.
I love the way you just said that. One of our callers who said that they've got to get one thing that Drew Petzing can do, get Kyler Murray into a rhythm where he is playing kind of free, where he gets into the mindset where he can take a few steps back, spot his receiver, and let it go. You're never going to be able to run the ball with this kind of passing game.
And you're never going to be able to pass the ball
with this kind of running game. Other than that, everything is fantastic.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.